Feel like you'd be judged for your handwriting. Is this your first impression, writing the handwriting on the board?
This is where people figure out if my serial killer or not. Right. By how I write the board.
The colour coordination is nice.
It's alright, innit? Years of practice, huh?
It's red moving and...
Red is moving, black is sitting and watching, basically. This is where all the fun is.
So red is warning.
Yeah.
Danger.
This is danger. The closer you get there is danger. This is just a bit of practice. Yeah, that's it. Welcome to Level 1. My name's Johnny. My job with Robin this weekend is to sort of navigate you through the weekend and take you through the foundational knowledge course, which is the CrossFit Level 1. The goal of the Level 1 is to introduce you guys to the methodology behind CrossFit, essentially. It is more than thrusters and pull-ups. Like people in your affiliates, maybe you guys yourselves, maybe don't really know why we do the movements we do. The goal of this weekend is to explain and have a deep dive into the methodology and sort of flip-flop between the methodology side of it and then the movement side of it as well.
If we can better understand what it is we do, then we've got a better chance of implementing it for ourselves or our clients in a much better way. Let's spread out, just make a circle around me so you've got enough room. I'll work on that. So first things first, we're going to do the air squat. It's going to look something like this. So what I want you to do for me, okay, is we're going to get into our squat stance.
I had a lot of time for them. Like it was kind of, as soon as you walked in, it was just, you were kind of at ease. You were like, yeah, these are actually like two genuinely nice people to care about this. And you did feel they cared about you as well. Like they did push you. They did want the best for you.
It looks like an overhead squat, but just because it looks like one doesn't mean we can't make it better. So then when these elite athletes in your gyms or better athletes in your gyms are coming up to you and they're like, but I've not PB'd my snatch or my overhead squat or whatever for months, you've then got to think about it. You're like, oh, have I actually given you any feedback in months? Because you're spending all your time with the beginners because, well, it's easier, right?
I started CrossFit about 7 years ago. Yeah, about 7 years ago. It's probably the one thing that I've stuck with the most. I've trained pretty much on and off all my life, but it's great going in somewhere where you can train and have good fun at the same time. About 18 months ago, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And in the last 18 months, I've had chemotherapy, radiotherapy, 4 operations. And I've trained, well, when I say I've trained, I've been in the gym on and off pretty much since then. The coaches have been fantastic. Everybody, I mean, the gym has been so supportive of people in it. So I wanted to do my Level 1, I think, to get an insight into it from the coach's perspective. And possibly with the hope of maybe helping out or helping other people who have ended up in my situation.
Fitness is a hedge against sickness. Nobody has gone to sleep with these health markers and woken up 8 hours later with these health markers. So if we can move the line to as close to fit as possible, we have a hedge against sickness. I'll give you me as an example, right? Take me, let's say when I first started CrossFit, I went full time about a year later, didn't have much responsibility. So I was coaching classes in my affiliate, rest of the time, training, recovering, sleeping, eating well, whatever I wanted to do, right? My life basically revolved around taking some classes and training. So for me personally, my fitness markers, my health markers were probably down there somewhere, right? Fast forward a couple of years, I started to get the job for seminar staff, a lot more traveling, a lot more preparation. So I wasn't able to train as much, my sleep suffered a little bit. So what do you think happened to my markers? Yeah, they slid back a little bit, right? So they still slid back a little bit, but I'm still well above well. Agreed? Fast forward a couple of years later, I opened an affiliate. By accident, I opened an affiliate. So I was taking the sort of 6 a.m. classes, the 7 a.m., the 12:30, the 5, 6, and 7 for about 2 years. What do you think happened to my training? Yeah, it slipped down a little bit, right? What do you think happened to my sleep? Yeah, a little bit less. So it started to slide back a little bit. I was still training 3 to 4 times a week, still trying to eat well. But compared to where I was, I'd still slid back a little bit.
There's days where I would have exhaustion is a big part of it, but I have been left with certain damage from the chemotherapy, and that bone pain, sickness. There's various different bits and pieces. So I've kind of went from having, well, I would say an element of fitness to going through the chemotherapy where you were lucky, you could sit on a bike and pedal. And then you were getting a wee bit of strength back and a little bit more mobility when you were going in and having another operation or whatever it happened to be. So I've went from having what I would say a good bit of fitness to not being able to do a lot, to sort of trying to get that back again. I know I'm not going to get back to where I was pre-diagnosis. That's just something I have to accept. But on the days where I can do, it's great to be able to go in somewhere where you know that even if the workout's something that you can't do, it's going to be modified for you to be able to do, to take part in it. That when they started on, I can't remember if it was Robin or Johnny, who were both fantastic over the weekend, on the fitness, wellness, sickness. And I was just like, that's so true. I mean, so true. Had I not been where I was, in my opinion, when I was diagnosed with this, I don't think my recovery would have been to the degree that it has been. I bounced back each sort of time, and I don't know that I could have done that had I not the fitness that I had prior to the diagnosis. And I mean, CrossFit played a big part in that. The functional fitness in itself, being able to use, when somebody says, use your lats, do this, do that, do the other, you're sort of more body conscious, more body aware of what muscles you should be using. So I do honestly believe it has helped me an awful lot.
Work capacity. How much work can you do? This speaks to your power output. How do we calculate power output? You guys remember that Waters cross lecture, force times distance divided by time? So how much work can you do? How much power can you produce? How heavy, how far, how long will it take you? So work capacity speaks to your power output. Down slow, up fast, and squeeze everything together. Just think like prison shower defense at the top. All right, set up for me. On the level 2, we talk about 6 criteria for an effective trainer. Teaching, seeing, correcting, group management, presence and attitude, demonstration. The demonstration speaks to the ability to be able to move well. Also the lifestyle as well. But in terms of moving well, that's going to help you get your demo across to other people. For example, in the push press, if you're telling people, hey guys, what I want to see is a vertical torso, and you're doing this, some people are going to learn by watching you move, so you're going to set for failure straight away. So my advice would be, when you go back to your bedrooms or your gyms, whatever, put a camera and film all the squats, all the presses, all the deadlifts. Help you understand your own movement a little bit, but also then as a coach, I was the same. I would always be like this on a push press. But once I videoed it and I could see it, and I thought about, okay, how do I fix this? I think about shoulders back, or I think about hips forward. That's cues then that you use on yourself and be effective on other people. So go home, film it all, because you need to be able to. It's not a requirement. Like you can teach a muscle without doing a muscle up. You know what I mean? But you need to know the points of performance and how to do those things. So demonstration is a big piece of being an effective trainer. So if you can tidy your own movement up, understand it, and the cues you use for yourself can be helpful for other people as well. Scenarios. Remember the technique and intensity threshold training piece. Too much technique, if you're moving perfectly, I don't care what your time is, you're moving too slowly, you're not going to get results from the program. If you're moving with so much intensity, the technique's out the window, I don't care what your time is, moving too quickly, you're going to get injured. And you'll be practicing the movements. The goal of this breakout, 2 goals. Number 1, as an athlete, you're going to practice the progressions, understand the points of performance and why they are there. It's also going to be your first exposure on the seminar to coaching somebody else through the movement. So you're going to have 2 hats on. Athlete hat number 1, coach's hat number 2. Yo.
How long have you been doing this for?
On staff?
Yeah.
Since 2018, I think it was.
And has the course changed?
Bits of it has, yeah. It changes all the time. It changes on basically the feedback that we get from participants at the end of the weekend.
Like, does the content change or just the delivery?
Bit of both. Content's changed over the years, not so much as I've been on. But definitely since I did my level 1 in 2015, it must have been, the content's a lot different. And I think we're going to change it again now, coming up in the next year or so, apparently.
Is that based on like new information or just to keep it fresh?
Yeah, a little bit of new information. So we'll always keep up to date with what's effective for the affiliates or movements, or I think the core content will stay the same, like what is CrossFit, what is fitness. I don't think that'll change potentially ever, but yeah, the nutrition lecture, that changes over the years.
Do the movements change? Like, would say deadlift not have been in it before, but now it's in it, or GHD not have been
No,
in it?
deadlift. The deadlifts have always been in there. The squats have always been in there. The 3 press have always been in there. Workout used to be Fran back in the day, but yeah, people would just rest too long and want to do all the pull-ups and stuff, you know. So burpee just makes it a little bit,
Accessible.
yeah, a little bit easier to push people for intensity a little bit more. So that's changed over the years. But yeah, it'll always change. It'll always be tweaked and adjusted. The level 2 has changed a lot. The level 2 changes a lot through feedback from participants on what they want to get out of the level 2 in terms of being able to coach other people.
Do you ever deliver the level 2?
Yeah. So
And 3, or just 2?
level 3 is just an in-person exam.
Okay.
So the level 3 is not so much a seminar as you would study by yourself, and all the materials on CrossFit.com. You would study, and then when you feel like you're ready, you can book into a registered test centre, and then it's like a 4-hour exam, which tests the broad spectrum of CrossFit training. So the movements, being able to see and correct, nutrition, scaling, all of those things.
Have you done it?
Yeah, I did the level 3. Yeah, did the level 3 for 2017, I think it must have been. That's changed over the years as well since I've sat it.
And then is level 4 the one where you go and coach strangers?
The level 4 is when you would go to a different affiliate and you would run 2 classes. So generally like a classic CrossFit sort of Metcon class, and then a heavy lifting day as well.
And who is there, like only 1 or 2 people supervise that, or?
Yeah,
test
so
that?
you got the sort of OG level 4s that run that. But yeah, you basically turn up to a gym, be given the workout, and then run the workout with people you've never met before, gym you've never seen before. So it's a good test on how well you can sort of adapt to things and adjust to things on the fly, and be able to run a class with people that you don't know. You don't know how they move.
Yeah.
You know, past experience. So it's a good test of being able to run an effective class.
Have you done it?
No, I haven't done it yet.
Any interest in doing it?
Yeah, we will do it as soon as the spaces are obviously super limited. So I shan't be quick enough to get on it yet. But once I get a spot, I will do it. And then yeah, things with my gym back in Swansea are pretty full on at the moment. Like, we literally just moved. Well, I say we just moved. It was probably 9 months ago now. But I planned to have everything done by before Christmas, and it's still not finished. So
Is it just you there coaching?
originally it was. So for the first 2 years or so, it was just me. So I would take the 6 a.m, the 7 a.m, the 12:30, the 5 p.m, 6 p.m, 7 p.m. Now, since we've moved, we brought on another coach. So I've got Janine with me, who runs the kids program for us. She came in, started running the 12:30 class, as well as like personal training clients. And then in the last 6 months or so, we brought on, I think, maybe 5 more coaches. All
Before that,
internally.
did you just close on the weekend then?
Janine would run it for me. So
Okay.
Janine, when I was away on seminars, Janine would run Friday evenings, Saturday mornings. She would run kids on a Sunday, and we have like an endurance class we run Sunday afternoon. So she would take all of those Monday morning early, and I would take the rest. But now I take 2 mornings a week, so 6 a.m, 7 a.m. I take 5 to 6 p.m. Monday to Thursday. And then I got other coaches that come in and do lunch times.
How many of these did you do last year?
Seminars? Oh, no idea. Probably around 30, I would say. Around about 30, I would say. Yeah, I'm probably averaging 3 a month.
It's intense, like.
Yeah, it's a lot. I do enjoy it. Like, I've had jobs where I hated them. So I hated going to work Monday to Friday and waking up on a Sunday morning dreading going to work on Monday. Now it never feels like a job. Like, the hours are long, you don't get much sleep, there's always something to be done, especially with the gym side of things. Like, there's always something that needs to be done, or something that's coming up. But because it never feels like work, you don't mind putting in the long hours and starting early, finishing late, because you enjoy it, and you can see where the gym if you've got a plan of where you want the gym to go, it's easy to keep moving in that direction. So I don't mind the long hours at all, you know. And obviously I've got a lot more coaches now that can take a lot of the classes. But as the gym grows, I find that the gym's got different needs from me. Like at the start, it was just like me taking classes, and the admin outside of that was very small. Now, a lot more members, a lot more classes. That comes with a lot more admin, a lot more behind the scenes work, programming and dealing with all these, you know, different types of classes that we run. So now I find that my time is probably better suited doing all that stuff and bringing other coaches on to run the classes side of things, you know. The difficulty is trying to keep everything high quality, programming high quality, the coaching high quality, and the seminars high quality, being prepared and given enough time to everything. So it's like training CrossFit. You try to juggle 10, 15, 20 plates. It's the same thing with running a gym and being on staff as well. It's trying to maximise everything so everything's running at a high standard, which is not easy to do, and something's got to give eventually. And for me, when I first got on, it was my own training that sort of took a back step, and still has for like the last, since 2018 basically. Like, my open performances have done this since 2018. But like, the gym can't give because you want other people to enjoy CrossFit, and where it is now, it's other people's livelihood in terms of their job, so that can't suffer. The seminars can't suffer, so something like my own trainer's got to suffer. But it is sort of coming full circle now, where I'm almost getting a little bit of time back. I can jump in. I train on the 12:30 class now, so while I've got a coach that takes that gives me a chance, an hour a day just to get in. And the plan is to forget about the gym for an hour and just train, but it's hard when like I'm in the class, I'm looking at like rowers are out of place or wall balls that are out of place, and I'm like half warming up, half trying to tidy things up. So I have got to get better at just being able to switch off.
Do a bit of OCD?
I might do, yeah.
I noticed you rubbing out your circles.
Yeah, people in the gym are like, have you got OCD? Maybe you should get tested. I might have, who knows. I might do.
It was like the middle of January, and I just went, and like literally on a Saturday evening I just went for a browse, and I seen one was in February, and I was like, oh shit, that's soon, but let's do it. So I literally signed up 2 weeks before, and yeah, ended up doing it, and hopefully all goes well. There was definitely a lot I didn't know, but in CrossFit, I suppose you don't know the depth of how far it actually goes. A lot of CrossFit, you only know what's been taught to you in a class. Going down to the nitty gritty, it definitely helped. You never sit as an athlete in the class. You never sit and watch a coach someone else. So to hear like experts, the level 1 was very good at like breaking things down and then building it up.
And what's going to happen here is Robin's essentially shot her knees forward and she's sitting on her heels. This is going to allow Robin to use her legs the whole time, removing any need of some upper body strength. With me? Cool. Position number 1. She's going to pull to below or top of the rib cage. She's then going to transition through to the bottom of the ring dip. The hands will trace the ribs around to the bottom of the ring dip. See shoulders in contact with the rings here. Then she's going to jump or press herself back up to ring support. Now every single one of those points has to be hit if you want to progress.
I was really glad I done it. Really, really glad I did it. There's a lot of information, as you well know, in the 2 days. I mean, my brain was completely fried by the time I come home on the Sunday evening after the exam. But it gives you a bit of sort of, how to put, you know, picking out the faults and the issues with people and showing you how that to me sort of will make me more conscious of my movements whenever I'm doing bits and pieces in the gym. Definitely worthwhile. Highly recommended to anybody that does CrossFit, whether they want to go on to do coaching or whatever. It is definitely a really good course to do.